Good morning, everyone. Every day is a new beginning. The moment you wake up, you have a choice to start your day carrying yesterday's worries, or to reset your mind and face the day with clarity. Here are 7 simple lessons to help you do just that every morning. When you open your eyes, the world outside is already moving, already changing, already demanding something from you. People will have opinions, events will unfold, and the news will arrive with both good and bad. If you allow these things to dictate your mood, your energy, or your choices, you give away your power. True power is not in controlling the world, this is impossible, but in controlling your mind. Your thoughts, your reactions, and your focus are yours alone. No one else can take them from you, and no one else can shape them unless you allow it. The moment you understand this, you begin to see life differently. You start to see that the only thing you truly need to master is your mind. And when that is under control, nothing outside can disturb your peace for long. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant weeds of anger, fear, and frustration, they will grow quickly and choke out everything else. If you plant seeds of calm, patience, and clarity, they will flourish even when storms hit. The world outside may not always be fair or kind, but you can decide how your inner garden responds. When someone speaks harshly to you, you can choose to react with irritation or to respond with calm. When a plan fails, you can feel overwhelmed, or you can pause, observe, and adjust. The events themselves are neutral, they do not carry meaning until you give it to them. Your mind is the lens through which everything passes. If the lens is clear, the world appears as it is, and you can act with reason. If the lens is clouded, everything seems heavy, unfair, and impossible. Controlling your mind does not mean ignoring reality. It does not mean pretending that difficulties do not exist or that people's actions do not matter. It means refusing to hand your inner peace to anything outside of you. The traffic jam, the rude comment, the unexpected setback, these are all external. You cannot always prevent them, and you cannot control how they happen. But you can control how you respond. You can notice your breath, slow your reactions, and choose your focus. You can remind yourself that your value, your calm, and your purpose do not depend on what happens outside. When you wake up, begin by taking ownership of your thoughts. Decide what deserves your attention and what does not. Thoughts about things you cannot change are distractions. They are storms that will rage only if you let them. Thoughts about your actions, your effort, and your attitude are the seeds that grow into meaningful change. By focusing on what is within your control, you train your mind to act intentionally rather than reactively. You build resilience, because when chaos comes, and it always will, you are not tossed about. You remain steady, grounded in the awareness that your mind is yours. This practice takes patience. It is easy to give in to anger, to frustration, to fear. It is easy to blame circumstances, to wait for the world to be better before you feel calm. But every moment you surrender your mind to what is outside, you weaken yourself. Every moment you choose to guide your mind, even in small ways, you strengthen your ability to face life with clarity. Over time, this becomes a habit, and habit becomes character. You begin to notice that challenges are smaller than they seemed, that people's words cannot wound you without your permission, and that your sense of peace is not fragile, it is built from within. Life is full of events that lie beyond your control. People will act in ways you do not expect, situations will unfold unpredictably, and the world will often resist your plans. When these moments come, most of us instinctively fight against them. We complain, we argue, we worry, we feel frustrated. We try to bend reality to match our desires, as if the universe owes us smooth paths and easy outcomes. But the truth is that resisting what cannot be changed only leads to more suffering. There is a simple, quiet power in accepting what is beyond your influence. Acceptance does not mean giving up, it does not mean indifference or weakness, and it does not mean that you allow harm to continue without response. It means recognizing the boundary between what you can change and what you cannot, and placing your energy where it can actually make a difference. When you face difficulties, the first step is to observe them without judgment. A traffic jam, a missed opportunity, a harsh word, or the illness of a loved one. These events are neutral in themselves. They are neither good nor bad until you layer your resistance, anger, or frustration on top of them. When you insist that they should not be happening, you create suffering in your mind that the event itself did not bring. Accepting reality as it is allows you to see clearly, without distortion. It does not mean that you like it or that you approve. It means that you recognize it for what it is, and do not waste energy fighting what cannot be controlled. This clarity frees your mind to focus on what you can influence, your attitude, your choices, and your actions. That acceptance also protects your peace. When life does not go according to plan, it is tempting to resist. You might replay the situation in your mind. Imagine how it could have been different, or blame yourself and others. These thoughts are exhausting, and they accomplish nothing. By accepting what you cannot change, you stop this endless loop of mental struggle. You acknowledge reality, and then look for the steps you can take, no matter how small. Perhaps you cannot prevent a delay, but you can use the time wisely. Perhaps you cannot change another person's behavior, but you can control how you respond. Acceptance allows you to conserve your energy, focus your mind, and act with purpose rather than emotion. Another part of acceptance is understanding impermanence. Life is always in motion. Circumstances, people, health, and possessions come and go. Resisting this natural flow is futile. By recognizing that everything is temporary, you cultivate a sense of calm in the face of change. You begin to see that disappointment and loss are part of the human experience, and that resisting them only deepens suffering. Acceptance allows you to navigate life without being swept away by the waves, to meet challenges with composure, and to maintain clarity when others around you are panicked or frustrated. That acceptance does not make you passive. On the contrary, it strengthens your ability to act effectively. When you stop wasting energy on what cannot be changed, you can focus fully on what can. You make decisions from a place of clarity rather than reaction. You respond to difficulties with reason instead of panic. You see opportunities where others see only obstacles, because your mind is not clouded by futile resistance. Each time you practice acceptance, you reinforce this skill, and over time it becomes a habit. Life may continue to throw obstacles in your path, but your mind remains steady, resilient, and clear. Every morning, your mind wakes to countless possibilities, and it also wakes to countless distractions. You may notice the problems you face, the tasks you must complete, the challenges you anticipate. It is easy to focus on what is missing, on what went wrong yesterday, or on what might go wrong today. This habit of seeing lack rather than abundance clouds the mind and drains energy before the day has even begun. Practicing gratitude is the antidote to this. It is a simple act, yet its effects are profound. By taking a few moments each morning to notice what you already have, you shift your focus from what is absent to what is present, from complaint to appreciation, from worry to calm. Gratitude is not about pretend. Life is perfect. It is about recognizing the value that already exists around you. To practice gratitude, begin by looking at the most basic aspects of life that are often overlooked. The fact that you are alive, that you can breathe, that your body functions in ways that allow you to move, think, and act. These are gifts that are easily taken for granted. The sun rises, water flows, food nourishes, and yet many people do not pause to notice these simple blessings. When you acknowledge them, even silently, your mind starts the day in a state of abundance rather than lack. You feel stronger, calmer, and more grounded. Gratitude reconnects you to reality, reminding you that life is not just a series of problems but a collection of opportunities, experiences, and gifts that continue to appear every day. Gratitude also strengthens your perspective on relationships. People come into your life in many forms, offering support, lessons, and companionship. Some are close to you, others may be strangers, yet all contribute to the shape of your experience. Recognizing even the smallest kindnesses, the smile of a friend, the help of a colleague, the patience of a stranger, creates a mental shift. Instead of dwelling on grievances or disappointments, your mind begins to catalog what is good and reliable. This does not mean ignoring mistakes or harmful behavior, but it does mean balancing the natural human tendency to focus on the negative. Gratitude turns the mind into a lens of awareness, seeing both challenges and gifts clearly. Practicing gratitude in the morning also prepares you for challenges later in the day. When you begin by appreciating what is good, your mind is less likely to be shaken by difficulties. You carry a reservoir of calm and resilience that can be drawn upon when stress, frustration, or conflict arise. Gratitude reminds you that life contains both joy and hardship, and that your attention can be placed wisely on what nourishes your spirit rather than what agitates it. The simple act of listing or noticing 3 or 5 things you are thankful for, however small, rewires your mind toward stability and calmness. Another benefit of morning gratitude is that it encourages presence. When you focus on what you already have, your mind is pulled into this moment, not trapped in regret over the past or anxiety about the future. You notice the sensation of breathing, the feeling of your body, the sounds and sights around you. This awareness is the foundation of clarity and intentional action. By starting each day with gratitude, you build a mental habit that allows you to appreciate life as it happens, to act with calmness, and to respond with clarity rather than impulse. Gratitude also aligns your mind with reality. It teaches you that happiness is not something to chase in distant events, people, or possessions, but something that can be cultivated internally by noticing what already exists. This habit is subtle yet powerful, because it gradually shifts the lens through which you view life. Over time, the mind that begins with gratitude becomes naturally calmer, more resilient, and more capable of handling life's inevitable difficulties without being overwhelmed by negativity or desire. Life constantly pulls your attention in many directions. Your mind thinks about the past, replaying mistakes, regrets, or things you wish had gone differently. It leaps ahead to the future, imagining what might happen, what could go wrong, or what you hope to achieve. In this back and forth, you rarely find yourself fully in the present moment. Yet the present is the only time in which you can act, the only time where your choices truly matter. Every second spent lost in past or future is a second you cannot use to live, to respond wisely, or to grow. Learning to stay present is a skill, and it is one of the most important habits for mental clarity, peace, and effectiveness. To stay present, begin by observing your surroundings as they are, without judgment. Notice the light in the room, the sound of your breathing, the feeling of your feet on the ground. These are small, ordinary things, yet they root your mind in reality. When you attend to the moment, your attention is no longer scattered by worries or fantasies. You are aware of what is, not what was or might be. This simple act of noticing keeps your mind grounded, giving you clarity and control over your thoughts and actions. The present is not just a fleeting point in time. It is the foundation upon which every choice is built. Staying present also means letting go of the urge to control everything. The mind naturally wants to plan and predict, to anticipate outcomes and secure safety. While planning is necessary in some contexts, excessive focus on the future creates anxiety, and dwelling on the past creates regret. Neither serves you in the moment. The present allows you to act intentionally, responding to reality as it unfolds rather than reacting from imagined scenarios. By anchoring your awareness in the now, you free yourself from the unnecessary burden of time that has not yet arrived or is already gone. You are able to engage fully with life, making each action more effective because it is informed by clarity rather than distraction. Being present also deepens your experiences. Meals, conversations, walks, work, and even challenges feel different when your mind is fully engaged. When you listen with full attention, people notice and communication becomes clearer. When you work with focus, your efforts are more precise and productive. When you face difficulties, you respond with calmness rather than panic, because your mind is fully aware of what is happening, rather than lost in imagined outcomes. Presence transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for growth, learning, and connection. Another aspect of staying present is observing your thoughts without being carried away by them. Thoughts will always arise, some pleasant, some troubling, some distracting. The key is not to follow every thought, but to notice it, acknowledge it, and then return to the present moment. This practice is like holding a bird in your hand. You see it, you feel its weight, but you do not trap it or let it fly unchecked. Your mind learns to distinguish between productive thoughts that serve action and unproductive thoughts that pull you away from reality. Over time, this strengthens self-control and mental resilience, allowing you to remain calm even when the external world is chaotic. Staying present also builds patience. When you are fully in the moment, you are less likely to rush, to demand immediate results, or to be frustrated by delay. You notice each step, each action, and each experience as it unfolds. This awareness reduces stress and improves judgment, because decisions made with a clear, present mind are wiser than those made in a state of distraction or panic. By practicing presence consistently, you train your mind to see life as it is, not as you imagine it should be, and to act from clarity rather than impulse. The habit of presence is developed gradually, through small, repeated actions. Begin each morning by noticing your breath, your surroundings, or the sensations in your body. Carry this awareness through daily tasks, conversations, and challenges. The mind that is trained to stay present becomes calmer, sharper, and more capable, and it no longer surrenders its energy to the past or the future. Life is not designed to be easy. Every person will face challenges, setbacks, disappointments, and obstacles. They come in many forms: sudden changes, difficult people, lost opportunities, or personal failures. The natural reaction is to resist, to complain, or to feel frustrated, as if the world is unfair. But resisting difficulty is a waste of energy. It creates suffering on top of what is already happening. Instead, the mind that is calm and prepared understands that challenges are an inevitable part of life. By expecting difficulty, you are not being pessimistic, you are being realistic. You prepare yourself mentally to face obstacles without being overwhelmed. When difficulties arise, you meet them with clarity, resilience, and purpose rather than panic or despair. To embrace difficulties, start by seeing them as opportunities for growth. Every challenge tests patience, courage, and wisdom. When someone treats you unfairly, it is a chance to practice restraint. When a plan fails, it is an opportunity to adapt and learn. When life becomes uncomfortable, it is a chance to strengthen perseverance. Difficulties are not punishments, they are the exercises that train the mind and character. Those who expect easy days are often unprepared for the inevitable storms, but those who accept the reality of challenge develop strength, confidence, and composure. Embracing difficulty also requires detachment from outcomes. Life may not give you the results you desire, even after your best effort. The work, the effort, and the intention are always within your control, but the results often are not. When difficulty arises, your task is to act rightly, with patience and wisdom, without demanding that circumstances bend to your expectations. By focusing on effort rather than outcome, you reduce frustration and cultivate a sense of calm. The mind that understands this is less shaken by setbacks because it is anchored in action, not in imagined rewards or punishments. Anticipating challenges before they arrive also strengthens preparation. If you know life will bring hardships, you can plan mentally and practically. You can remind yourself that discomfort is temporary, that obstacles can be overcome, and that every problem carries lessons. When difficulties appear, the mind is not caught off guard. Instead of reacting with fear or anger, you respond intentionally, seeing solutions and opportunities rather than only obstacles. This approach does not make the challenge disappear, but it makes you capable of navigating it with effectiveness and dignity. Another important aspect of embracing difficulty is understanding impermanence. Challenges, like everything else, are temporary. They may feel intense in the moment, but they pass. Recognizing this allows the mind to endure discomfort without being overwhelmed. Every difficulty carries within it the seed of change and growth. By accepting this, you learn patience and resilience. You also begin to see that life is not meant to be a smooth path, but a series of experiences, some comfortable, some uncomfortable, all shaping your character and wisdom. When difficulties arise, emotional control is crucial. Most suffering comes not from the events themselves, but from the mind's reaction to them. Frustration, anger, and fear magnify problems, while calm observation and acceptance reduce their impact. By practicing emotional restraint, you preserve energy for action rather than wasting it on complaint. You remain alert, thinking clearly, and able to act strategically. Each challenge becomes less of a burden and more of a teacher, helping you to develop patience, courage, and insight. Difficulties are also reminders of what is within your control. You cannot always control the world, but you can control your response. You can choose to act with integrity, clarity, and effort. You can maintain composure, focus, and purpose. The more you practice embracing difficulties, the more your mind becomes resilient. Over time, you begin to welcome challenges not with fear, but with a quiet confidence that you can endure. learn and grow stronger. Because obstacles are the forge in which character is shaped. From the moment we are born, we are taught to seek the approval of others. Parents, teachers, friends, and society reward us when we follow expectations and criticize us when we do not. Over time, this need for validation becomes a habit. We begin to measure our worth by how others perceive us, how many compliments we receive, or how well we fit into someone else's standards. The problem is that other people's opinions are beyond our control. They are shaped by their own experiences, fears, and desires, and they can change at any moment. When you give your power over to these external judgments, you surrender your peace, your clarity, and your freedom. True strength comes from letting go of the need for approval and learning to act with integrity, guided by your own understanding of what is right. Letting go of approval starts with awareness. Notice when you are acting to please someone rather than because it aligns with your values or goals. These moments are subtle. Choosing a word, changing a tone, or avoiding conflict can all be motivated by fear of judgment. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward freedom. Once you see it, you can begin to make conscious choices. Instead of asking yourself, "Will they like me?" you ask, "Is this the right thing to do? Is this honest? Is this aligned with my principles?" Shifting your focus from others' opinions to your own clarity gives you control over your mind. Approval becomes irrelevant because your sense of worth is no longer tied to external forces. Other and aren't part of letting go is accepting imperfection. People will criticize you regardless of what you do, and some will misunderstand your intentions. This is not a reflection of your value. It is simply a reflection of their perspective. No matter how perfectly you act, there will always be opinions beyond your control. By accepting this, you release the burden of trying to please everyone. You stop living for applause or fear of judgment and start living for purpose and integrity. This does not make you selfish, it makes you free. You are able to act decisively and confidently because your energy is no longer spent on chasing approval or avoiding criticism. Letting go also strengthens relationships. When you act from sincerity rather than performance, people sense authenticity. They trust what you say because it comes from honesty, not from fear of judgment. You no longer manipulate, bend, or conceal to gain approval, and your connections become deeper and more meaningful. Paradoxically, the less you seek validation, the more respect you earn, because people instinctively recognize someone who is guided by principle rather than by fear. Daily practice is essential. Each morning, remind yourself that other people's opinions are outside your control. Observe the moments when you feel the urge to adjust, explain, or perform for someone else. Take a breath, step back, and realign your actions with your values. Over time, this strengthens the habit, and your mind becomes less dependent on external validation. You find peace, independence, and confidence in self-mastery. Another aspect is understanding the difference between feedback and judgment. Constructive advice is different from approval seeking. Feedback from those you trust or those with experience can help you grow, but it is useful only when you evaluate it wisely. Approval seeking, on the other hand, is submitting your mind to the ever-changing opinions of others. By distinguishing these two, you can learn from others without surrendering your own judgment or peace. Letting go of the need for approval is not a single act, it is a practice, repeated each day, each moment. Every time you choose principle over praise, honesty over flattery, or calm over worry about judgment, you reinforce your inner freedom. Slowly, the mind becomes steady, unshaken by praise or criticism, and capable of acting with clarity, courage, and integrity in all circumstances. Many people spend their lives chasing perfection, imagining that happiness, respect, or peace will arrive only when they reach some flawless standard. They measure themselves against impossible ideals, comparing every mistake, every flaw, every failure to an imagined ideal version of themselves. This pursuit is exhausting and endless because perfection is not real. It cannot be achieved, and the effort to attain it constantly breeds frustration, self-doubt, and dissatisfaction. The wiser path is not to strive for perfection, but to focus on consistent self-improvement. Each day is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to act with more wisdom than you did yesterday. Small, repeated efforts build strength and character in ways that chasing perfection never can. Self-improvement begins with honesty. You must see yourself clearly without exaggeration or denial. Recognize your weaknesses, your mistakes, and the areas where you can grow, but do so without judgment. This is not about self-criticism or shame. It is about clear observation. When you know yourself accurately, you can take purposeful steps to develop, instead of wasting energy hiding flaws or pretending they do not exist. Improvement is a process, and it requires patience. The mind that understands this does not demand instant change or reward. It works steadily, knowing that small actions repeated consistently create lasting results. Another important part of self-improvement is prioritizing effort over outcome. You cannot control everything that happens in life. You cannot always achieve the results you hope for, no matter how much you try. What you can control is your effort, your focus, and your intention. By measuring yourself by what you do rather than what you achieve, you free your mind from frustration and disappointment. Each day becomes a chance to act with purpose, to practice patience, discipline, and resilience. The habit of consistent effort transforms the mind and the character, even when outcomes are uncertain. Self-improvement also involves learning from mistakes. Every failure, every setback, and every error carries a lesson if you choose to see it. People who chase perfection often hide from failure, pretending it does not exist, or becoming discouraged when it happens. Those who focus on improvement treat failure as a teacher. They observe what went wrong, adjust their approach, and move forward. In this way, mistakes are no longer enemies but tools for growth. This mindset builds resilience because it removes fear of failure and replaces it with curiosity, reflection, and determination. Discipline is another key element of self-improvement. Habits, daily routines, and consistent actions form the backbone of progress. Improvement is not dramatic or sudden, it is gradual, built on repeated choices and small victories. By committing to small, purposeful actions each day, whether in work, relationships, health, or learning, you accumulate strength and skill over time. The mind that focuses on improvement understands that growth is a lifelong process, and that each day offers opportunities to take a meaningful step forward. Self-improvement also requires patience with yourself. Change is rarely immediate. Habits are difficult to form, and old patterns are hard to break. The mind that seeks perfection becomes frustrated and impatient, often abandoning efforts too soon. The mind that seeks improvement, however, works steadily, day after day, knowing that consistent action, even small, is far more powerful than occasional bursts of effort aimed at an impossible ideal. Mallory. Focusing on improvement rather than perfection encourages humility. You recognize that you are always a work in progress, that learning never ends, and that growth is more important than praise or appearance. This humility opens the mind to knowledge, self-reflection, and meaningful change. Over time, the habit of improvement transforms your character. You become someone who acts intentionally, learns from experience, and grows stronger, wiser, and more capable every day. Each morning is a new beginning, a blank page in the story of your life. How you begin the day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake in a rush, reacting to alarms, messages, and the pressure of tasks before your mind has a chance to settle, the entire day can feel chaotic and stressful. The mind becomes scattered, and actions become reactive rather than intentional. On the other hand, if you start each day with calm and purpose, you give yourself a foundation of clarity and control that carries through every challenge, interaction, and task. Calmness is not weakness or passivity. It is the steady state of a mind that knows it can navigate life with focus. Purpose is not ambition alone. It is the clear understanding of what matters most, guiding your energy in meaningful directions. To cultivate calm, begin each morning with awareness. Before rushing into external demands, pause. Take a few deep breaths. Notice your body, your surroundings, and the rhythm of your mind. In this quiet moment, you remind yourself that the day has not yet begun in earnest, and that you have the choice to guide your attention and energy. The mind that practices calm is not easily thrown by noise, interruptions, or minor irritations. It observes the world without unnecessary judgment and responds with clarity rather than reactivity. This simple act of starting with calm builds resilience because your mental state is anchored in stability rather than emotion. Purpose follows naturally from calmness. Once the mind is still, you can reflect on what is most important today. What actions are aligned with your values? What tasks deserve your focus, and which distractions can be ignored? Purpose is the inner compass that directs energy wisely. It does not require grand plans or overwhelming ambition. Even small, deliberate steps taken with attention and intention create meaning. When the mind is focused on purpose, you act with efficiency and clarity. Your efforts are not scattered across trivial concerns, but directed toward what truly matters, and this gives each day a sense of fulfillment, even in the face of challenges. Starting with calm and purpose also reduces anxiety and stress. Much suffering arises from feeling unprepared or overwhelmed. When you begin with a clear mind and a defined intention, the day's events are approached strategically rather than chaotically. Tasks are handled one at a time, challenges are met with composure, and interactions with others are guided by thoughtfulness rather than impulse. Calmness allows you to see solutions more clearly, and purpose ensures that your energy is applied where it can have the greatest effect. Daily practice strengthens this habit. Simple routines like stretching, breathing, journaling, or silent reflection create a mental space where calm and purpose can take root. Over time, these morning practices condition the mind to enter a state of focus more easily, even when external pressures rise. When difficulties appear, the mind is ready, because the day began with grounded attention rather than scattered reactions. This habit also trains patience, discipline, and awareness, qualities that carry over into every aspect of life. Starting the day with calm and purpose also fosters emotional balance. When the mind is centered, it is less likely to be swayed by anger, frustration, or anxiety. You observe events as they unfold and respond deliberately rather than reacting impulsively. You also approach challenges and opportunities with clarity, recognizing what you can control and what you cannot. Calmness gives perspective, and purpose provides direction, creating a mental state in which decisions are guided by reason, not by fleeting emotion or external pressure. Finally, this practice reminds you that life is lived one day at a time. Each morning is a chance to reset, to leave behind mistakes, regrets, and distractions from the previous day. By intentionally cultivating calm and purpose, you take control of your mind, set your priorities clearly, and equip yourself to act with focus, resilience, and integrity. This approach transforms ordinary days into opportunities for growth, achievement, and meaningful action, shaping the character and mindset necessary for a life lived well.